Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the meeting of the Manchester Planning and Zoning Commission. It is Tuesday, April 19th. First item on the agenda for tonight is the approval of the March 15th, 2022 minutes. They are in the packet in front of you.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from March 15th.
Motion's been made to approve as written.
I'll second the motion.
Motion has been seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. All right. Michelle, how are you this evening?
I'm good.
What you got for us?
I just wanted to review some of the projects that we had going on. The Equine Meadows, which we're going to be talking to this evening, has not had any more approvals through the county. It's just stayed where it was when I gave you the printout of it. The Lamont property, they asked to be moved to May agenda for the solar. Castlefield is completely permitted and they're building the last 3 units at the bottom of Hilltop Drive. I haven't had any movement on the Blake. Premier came in with their pre-concept meeting with us, but I haven't seen anything come through on that yet. Our new zoning maps have been done. The council's in the process of signing them all, but they are on the website for review. Our water sewer master triennial plan, I submitted all the information to Price in April, so we're just waiting on that. Nothing on the Lippy property. The comp plan, I just wanted to give a heads up because we are supposed to do an administrative update every 5 years, and that would be 2023. Okay. That's something that we'll need to work on. And rental housing, we're done now. I have 4 that are outstanding, which is pretty unusual. Usually it's more than that. And I wanted to go over we've got some new businesses in town. One is Cornerstone Realty purchased Manchester Vet building. Oh. So they're going to be going in there. Where the vape store was, in that building is a store coming in called Love Yourself First. It's a metaphysical, spiritual items, things of that nature. And then we had American Medical Hemp Records, which moved into the old number 1 North building. And with that, he's put the sign up before I brought it to you guys, but I just wanted to bring it in anyway and let you guys see the sign, make sure we get some approval on it. And I have his application, I just didn't approve it. It is 4 foot by 8 foot. It meets the sign ordinance as far as sizing. It looks a little larger than glass, but he put it up in the same frame that number 1 North was in. Okay. Mm-hmm. So if no one has any concerns with it.
The only concern is I thought we'd had a discussion previously about its relationship to the state right-of-way.
On the number 1 North sign?
On the number 1 North sign.
Oh, okay, yeah. I don't remember that, but as far as...
Is it in the right-of-way, or is it...
Where does the right-of-way go to?
That's tough going down Main Street because we have some front porches that are actually in the state highways right-of-way. So I guess what we could do is look back at the maps when we did the Main Street project and see where they show the right-of-way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And so as long as we're out of that, we're okay with that sign? Or he'll need to shorten it?
Has there been any feedback from anyone in town, any residents?
I haven't heard anything.
No. So since it's in the same frame, theoretically, can we approve it with the note that if the state comes through and makes a change, it's your cost, it's your dime, it's your problem,
Yeah.
kind of issue. And that's my thought because the sign had been there that framework had been there for a long time. I don't know.
Right, he's just using what was previously there.
Correct, and I give him a lot of credit for that. I mean,
Yep. Oh, yeah. No. I mean, the frame is probably the building owners. Therefore, grandfathering would apply. If it was a new sale of property, then I'd kind of be, grandfathering may or may not apply.
gotcha.
Okay, so I'm going to give him a zoning certificate for the sign with the stipulation that if State Highway has any problems with it, he has to
It's all on him.
Okay.
Great. What was the rental property? Has the rental board met in a while?
No,
Has there been any reason to meet?
not recently. We haven't had,
Any problems to meet for?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
when-
know.
There's been no
I believe
updates
when
since our.
the
It's gonna
new
snow today, too.
rental license went up in price, and we were able to bring the folks in and tell them, hey,
Sure.
we're spending all this time on administrative, police calls, so-and-so. Knock on wood, things have kind
Calm
of
down.
calmed down a little.
Okay, great.
Well, that's
That's good to hear. All right. Anything else from Michelle? Great. Steve?
Okay, good evening, commission members. One thing that I want to bring to your attention, last Tuesday evening, our engineering firm, CDM Smith, came in and gave a presentation to the mayor and the council on our preliminary engineering report in regards to the upgrade at the wastewater treatment plant. So they gave 4 options, one to do nothing, and 3 other options, treatment aimed toward ENR. Looks like if the council decides to go with the no upgrade and just replace some of the equipment that we have down there, you're looking at about $4.7 million. If we go to the Barton filter end of it, the ENR process, looks like our share is going to be around $6.7 million. When I say our share, the other part of the total $25 million would be picked up by the state using the Bay Restoration Fee money. So that was presented to the mayor and the council. You know, over the next several weeks, they're going to be absorbing that information, and hopefully over the next couple meetings, a decision will be made on what direction to go. The next direction would be probably the design phase, and then after that, we would go into construction, and you may be looking as far out as 2025 until construction maybe starts and ends sometime in that time period. No enlargement of the plant. By all indication, it shows that we will still be under our 500,000 gallon a day limit based on the comp plan, based on everything that's planned out there. So I just want to bring that to your attention. So that's it.
How much more significant improvement in effluent treatment are we getting if we start incorporating these filters in lieu of just upgrading the equipment?
A lot. I think what we have to do is we have to look down the road. We have to look at the nitrogen limits and the phosphorus limits. One thing that we're a little bit different, and I had a little bit of heartburn on this, and Rodney will agree to this. When our new permit came out, you have to understand for 9 months out of the year, we spray irrigate. We
Right.
want those nutrients out on that ground. Unfortunately, you know, the state looks at it and says, well, you know, you're still putting nutrient-laden water out on the ground. Well, you know, just during its own natural process till it gets down into the water supply and the water table, it's going to filter itself out.
Right.
We've done numerous tests on soil sampling out there, and we're doing fine. You know, no nutrients show up, no high nutrient levels or anything. So that kind of gave us a little heartburn, because the system we're looking at, you can turn it off in the summertime months, but it's really not recommended. So
Yeah.
then we have to look at the operational costs. What are our daily operational costs to keep this in operation for 9 months out of the year? So,
And it's not going to get any cheaper moving forward.
it's not going to get any more cheaper.
And we don't know what the state requirements are going to be, say, in 2025.
You're absolutely
And
right.
if we're not proactive in this, and I'm sure you guys know a hell of a lot more
Yeah.
about it than I, if we're not proactive, we might get stuck with a bill that we really don't want to be
That's
stuck
correct.
with.
And if we sit there and we do nothing and we just upgrade the pieces of it at $4.7 million, which will buy us 20 years, but during that 20 years, our permit's going to re-up 4 times.
Right.
And we know during that 4 times, or those 4 times, that those limits are going to start getting tighter.
Right.
Unfortunately, Back River doesn't abide by it, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. So,
But, yeah, that's just my thought on it. I mean, obviously, the
right. You're
council has to
absolutely right.
allocate the funding and
yes.
deem it worthy, but they don't relax standards on
No.
wastewater, so
No, you're absolutely right.
just hopefully we'll move forward.
That's it, that's all I have.
Great, thank you.
Oh, one thing, Steve, how are the wells doing with this? A little better? I mean, it was really dry through the winter.
Or, which are?
Res- Or water
Well,
supply wells.
Wells, yes.
Oh, they're in good shape.
We
Okay.
did have a meeting several weeks ago. Oh my gosh, the gentleman's name escapes me now.
Oh, Zach?
Yeah, Zachary
Yeah.
Neal from the county. And he did say at that time, things were a little borderline.
Yeah, well, that's what you had indicated the last time
Right.
we had
But,
met.
you
I
know,
was just curious, we have had a little bit more precipitation since then. but
Correct, correct.
just- Okay, thank you, Steve. Rodney?
Anything else for Steve? Great, thank you, Steve. Chris, anything from the council?
Yeah, real quick, in addition to what Steve mentioned, the council did introduce 3 ordinances. Ordinance number 251, and that's to maintain our current tax rate of 21.6 cents. Ordinance number 252, increasing the water unit fee from $3 from $27 to $30 per unit. And ordinance number 253, increasing the sewer unit fee $4 from $36 to $40 per unit. And so we're still in the middle of the budget. I think we're getting close to wrapping up the budget, so.
Great, thank you. Bryce, how are you? Good. What do you have for us from Westminster?
Nothing too much has changed over the last month. Our comprehensive rezoning, or mainly our ag conservation zoning text updates, we were now in the process of our concept team, which is within the county, looking over everything, taking recommendations from the work group, and adjusting our agriculture and conservation zoning ordinance to see what, if anything, needs to be changed majorly. Some good things have come out of it. We had a good conversation today with our planning commission. We're gonna go back in front, I believe, next Wednesday to have more discussion over a certain thing. It's on. I'm just really quiet. Yes, the second, obviously, we're still finalizing the spring amendment. And then, as Michelle said, I have received the town of Manchester's information for the triennial update. I'll begin reviewing all that just on my end before I start incorporating stuff and getting chapters ready to send off to MD just for basic review. We like to do that so they don't get everything all at once and all of a sudden we get way down the line and they realize something major needs to be done. So I'll start looking over all those chapters. The transportation master plan is still ongoing. We've had other projects that have come in to play, so that one's still going strong, but it's slow. So we've received all the information back from our consultant and to our Mary Lane, who's our planning manager, and then Claire Stewart, who's one of our other planners, senior planners. They're working on the transportation study and work on the transportation plan itself. Annual report, I believe you've actually done everything needed certification-wise, so we'll get that to MDP, the Maryland Department of Planning, on by July the 1st. And then the hazard mitigation plan, that is one we have to do roughly every 10 years, I believe. And it took a hiatus during COVID. So now they're in the process of getting that back up and running again to finalize that hazard mitigation plan. And we have hired a new planner who's coming online a week from this Thursday. And my understanding is that new planner is actually from the Hampstead, Manchester area. He'll be taking over liaison for Hampstead and Manchester. But I'll be at the May meeting. And
What's his name? What's the name?
Andrew Gray.
Oh, okay.
So I'll be at the May meeting just to give him an introduction for everybody. But I believe since he's been in the planning field and in and around here. Both our director and planning manager believe he'll be able to hit the ground running, instead of sometimes we give a little bit of a small learning curve, but I believe so. More than likely, the May meeting will be my last meeting as liaison. However, still water and sewer guy, so that's where I'll be. Then, of course, any other questions that, if he has any questions, obviously, I'm here to offer help with him and go from there.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Price? Very good. Thank you, sir. All right, since we took care of the sign, Quine Meadows. Mr. Demaria, what do you have for us this evening?
First, I have to apologize, my electronics are not working, so I don't have my stuff to present.
Okay,
The last time we met, I'm sorry, let me come up here.
thank you.
The last time we met in work session, we were able to obtain a couple of documents that helped us better define what drainage area was going to Westchester Square. And what we found from those documents, that it included almost 70 acres. And since the time of the design of that pipe, the areas in the upper part, Princess Court, Coleman Court, let me think, no, I'm sorry. At the top of the hill, I'm trying to recall the road names there. Michelle, what's? Princess Court on the opposite side. Those two roads intercept about 14 acres that originally went to Westchester Square. So the overall drainage area has been reduced by about 14 acres because they take the water to a different direction. So the net effect of that is that the system that's designed for Westchester Square actually receives a lot less drainage than it did when it was originally designed. Consequently, it's my opinion that even under extreme conditions of a 100-year storm event, that system receives a lot less water today than it did when it was designed, coupled with the fact that we control everything on site of Equine Meadows. I think that my conclusion is that there's no detrimental impact to Equine Meadows, or from Equine Meadows on Westchester. So then it just becomes a question of whether or not this is an appropriate thing for us to do.
So if I hear you correctly, based on the information you received, you now want to abandon the stormwater management piping that you were trying, the off-site stuff?
No, sir, not at all.
Oh.
We still intend to build the off-site. What I'm trying to say is that there was a question of whether or not the configuration of our system, if it was going to cause a different quantity of water to make it into Westchester Square than what was the original design. And what I'm trying to say is that that original design incorporated the entire area that we're seeing today, plus about 14 acres that have been diverted since the development of the I don't know the names of the subdivisions at the top. So I'm saying we still want to build the offsite. We still want to improve the flooding conditions on Park Avenue, and we want to convey that down Westminster Street.
So you're moving forward with what we had previously discussed, or is this something new, or?
I felt that when we left the workshop, it was unsettled on whether or not we were being allowed to move forward. And when I left, I was under the impression that my task was to look at the new documents and to see if that helped us clarify the design.
Basically, what we talked about at the end of the meeting was the design needed to be confirmed.
Okay.
So the approximately 14 acres that no longer contributes to that system, Presumably, it connects into the same outfall channel but downstream, so lower on 27?
The one goes over to New Street, and the one on Princess drops lower than what it does today. It drops in lower than Westchester Square. There's a stormwater management facility in that, back there. I've not really investigated exactly where that one goes. I just know it doesn't come down the hill any longer.
Did we make any further progress on the pipe that goes from Westminster Street down the hill? When and where that pipe appeared?
We did not. I know Rich took the drawings. I don't know if you had a chance to inspect any of the piping out there or anything.
We didn't physically inspect it. We looked at it in the plan view. So I'm not sure if we can look at the dates on there to see when it was constructed. But the connecting pipe from Westminster Street down to the first inlet, that was after the initial phase one, after the initial large pipe was put in. And I should add, one thing I did confirm, and we had suspected it, but all of the off-site stuff that's brought into that inlet is bypassed through the Westchester Square. So the phase two stuff that's on the parking lot and the rooftops go into two small facilities between the buildings, and then phase one, the roof and the parking lot goes into a large tank, and then that comes back into the storm drain system that basically is a bypass.
Do you have the notes from the work session? Because I don't have them with me.
For other items or for?
For this, what we talked about during, because to be quite honest with you, I'm drawing pretty much a blank right about now, no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
Do you
that's
want to keep the minutes, or I have the information that was given,
it. At our work session?
but not the minutes?
I thought, I could have sworn we pretty much cleared everything, and
Yeah.
we were,
There was some homework to do, and that's where we kind of left it, was, do the homework, confirm
okay,
that it was a bypass, confirm that there's no additional burden being put on the property from drainage, to
Right.
which
okay,
analysis that will be incorporated in a future submission to us will document that there's now less drainage going to that conveyance pipe. If there was one thing that gave me a little bit of heartache here, it's the lack of an easement that conveys town water through this property. But, I can't correct things that happened decades ago. Clearly, it's been doing that, it's been functioning. There's
Right.
been some observance of high water activity during these recent unprecedented storms, but that did not appear to be the result of this system if the system's functioning properly. So, from
yeah,
a,
standing water at the bottom of the hill's been a long-standing issue with that. Well,
I didn't have, I'm sorry, I
No,
didn't
go.
have, actual minutes of it. I know that we had discussed it because Mr. Lamont had concerns that he did not want that water going down there. from causing any issues. So we tried to look for an easement, which we couldn't find in the deed.
Right.
The county referenced it, but we couldn't find an actual easement for the town's water to go in there in the beginning. And it dated so far back that Westminster Street wasn't even in town at the time.
Well, that was gonna be my following question, was that even part of the city at the time, or the town
Right.
at the time, yeah.
So we couldn't find anything on that one. So then you guys had discussed that if he could show that he was definitely not going to put any problem on him, then it would be okay to do it.
All right, well, you want to give us a submission so we can review it that says exact to meet what we have in the notes, that in your
Certainly,
professional
yep.
opinion, it's not going to create any greater burden, and that it'll all be able to handle it, and then we can close that item out while you're waiting for the rest of your approvals from the
Very
county.
good, thank you.
Okay? Awesome.
Was there anything else we needed to talk about tonight? Okay.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right. Thanks for the life raft. Appreciate it. Anybody have anything else for the good of the order?
No, but I'll just make a comment, because I didn't get a chance, because Mr. DeMario came up before I could speak, that I can't offer any more public comment on Equine Meadows due to a conflict
Okay,
of interest, so.
thank you. All right.
The applicant.
So, Michelle, we're looking at Tuesday, May 17th?
Correct?
Okay.
And we know that we will have the solar project. That's all I know at this point.
Okay.
Steve,
No, I'm thinking of something else. Okay. All right, sounds good. Tuesday, May 17th, we know we have the solar project for the agenda, so we will have a meeting, 7 PM. Here, unless the zombification of Manchester occurs, which I'm glad we're not gonna have to worry about that, so we'll be here. Great.
Well, I don't know. We might have to worry about it. Goes the next step, we might have to worry about it.
That's right. All right, anything else for the good of the order? No. Very good. Take a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion that the meeting be adjourned.
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Good evening.
I'd like to make a comment since we're off the air.